Welcome to Business Talk Sister Gawk. I'm Bekkah, and today the topic of our episode is navigating business partnerships, when to team up. And with us, I have Deevo and Lisa, and I am super excited to talk with them today because they have been entrepreneurs in their own right. And they also have had a variety of different experiences before then deciding to come together and work on a different business. And thank you so much for being with me today.
We're so excited to be here, and we've enjoyed our brief interlude before this even started. So I'm really excited to see what happens.
Yeah. And my first question I have for you guys is, what do you do? And maybe you can kind of break it down into sections, like what you do separately or what you do together. But I would love to hear all about this.
We each started out with businesses that we had already established. We were both photographers, and we still are both photographers and content creators. We're actually situated 4 hours apart from each other, and we've been doing photography for quite some time. We actually met 4 years ago, almost five, on Instagram, proof that social media works. And we just started connecting and collaborating through there. Collaboration is everything for businesses. We just ask each other questions, and from there, we started to see a niche. We had a lot of people asking us about certain things, and we would be teaching and doing discussions and classes and all of that. So that kind of transpired into our business, which is Sprout Connectors. Do you want to talk about what we do actually in Sprout?
Yeah, but before we do that, you introduced me as a Devo. So are there more than one of me coming on the show?
I'm sorry, did I say that? Yes, I think it was as in I was thinking.
Well, a diva.
I think that's where she was going with it.
Oh, okay. You guys are reading my mind. I think part of it was the fact that when I introduced you, I looked back at my video screen and you were not there.
It was like, there's some dogs barking in the green room, so where's he gone? Yeah.
So when we first started this, Sprout Connectors.
Yes, so we got together.
Yeah, at the crux of what we do, well, the version of Sprout has sort of morphed and evolved in the last year and a half. We originally thought that we were just going to help people manage their social media because most people don't really know what they're doing on social media. So that's where we started. But what we quickly realized was a lot of the reasons people fail at social media was that they don't clearly understand their value proposition, the purpose of their business. In order, especially small business and entrepreneurs. And so what they're doing is they're just sort of throwing darts at the social media board, if you will. But there was a direct correlation between that and how they ran their business. So we quickly realized that the best way to help people was to sort of reverse engineer that whole paradigm and start from the beginning and help them better understand their business and the value proposition that they bring to the table and what distinguishes them from anyone else in the market and what problem are they solving, and understanding all those things quickly led to being able to fulfill what their social media stood for, because it's just sort of a direct extension. So at the crux of what we do, that was long, really trying to sound really smart for you, but at the crux of what we do is we help people realize their business purpose through a very thoughtful and provoking discovery process. And then, so it's a branding and marketing discovery. In fact, I was just doing one today, and as I walked away, she was blown away, like how many things she had never thought about with some of the questions that you're asking. So then we take all of that and then we help promote their business through traditional channels of marketing, but also social media and content.
I think a lot of that happened because when you are a small business and entrepreneur, you end up being in the weeds a lot, and it's hard for you to actually see past the daily grind of things that you're doing and people that you're helping and products that you're producing and all of that. So to have an outside set of eyes, even for us, we have a business coach too, that executive coach that helps us to kind of reach our goals. And it's kind of going in as well with that same sort of ideology to, what's worked for you, what hasn't worked for you. And we've done a lot of different things in getting to where we are in the last couple of years in our business too. We've talked about quality and quantity. And by trying different things out and seeing what fits for us, it's really kind of helped us to morph where we are right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one of the big questions, I guess, that kind of came into the why you do it in the story that you're telling. When you both decided to work together, why did you choose to do that under an established business instead of deciding to work side by side in the businesses that you already have?
Well, mainly because Lisa wasn't comfortable with sharing her business line with me because she basically dominates the Eastern Seaboard. And so, no, I'm just joking. I think really both of us had a step plan for that.
Yeah.
Both of us had very established brands in our respective markets. And so,
Okay.
and at that time, at the time of Sprout, we were sort of known for just traditional photography. And Sprout came about sort of by, well, I don't believe anything's by accident, but metaphorically speaking, accident, because we were getting asked to do workshops and train and do a lot of education to other photographers. And what we quickly realized through that process is that there was just a huge gap for filling that void of content, ideation, purposeful branding, marketing, social media, all wrapped up into one. And that's not what either of our brands were. So we didn't want to have brand confusion by saying, hey, Fusion does this now and Lisa does that. So we started a third brand, which is kind of an entity all to itself, and Sprout and Fusion both feed in. Does that make sense?
Can I just add to that too? I think we both had established our businesses, and there's a lot that went into that, into setting up a business and getting it off the ground and running really fast. So I did that within the last 4 years as well. And I think through trial and error of things that we've done within our business, we weren't sure where Sprout was going to go, but we wanted to set it up correctly from the beginning, to set it up as a separate entity, not to have it kludgy with bits and pieces and, you know, what part is your business, what part is my business, and all of that. So we tried to set it up with the potential of all the other things that could come under this umbrella of Sprout.
Well, and Bekkah, in of itself, it's an independent business line. So there's some things that it does that crosses into the Fusion world, and there's some things that it does that crosses into the Lisa staff world. But in of itself, it's its own vessel. And we just, at the end of the day, we just didn't want to have brand confusion.
Yeah. Okay.
I think as well, another strategy for what we've done as well, that you have your own business following, I have my own business following, and it does elevate who Sprout is, because we're coming in as well as two separate content creators that have already established a following as well. So it kind of elevates that already.
Okay. Yeah. So, and you mentioned that you guys live 4 hours away from one another. So that's a really long drive. And I was shocked that you made that drive today for me. Like, that's awesome. So how do you stay organized in communication with one another as you're so far apart and gaining clients and all that kind of stuff?
We have a constant stream of conversation, don't we? I feel like everyone's either always on a Zoom or a FaceTime right now. And we have we have a small team, but a crack team that we've developed that.
You call me a crackhead?
No, that have a really good understanding of what our dream is for this business, and what they do really, really well. So we're really grateful for that.
Well, also, it should be noted that 4 hours is really not that far of a distance, but it also enables us to have a further reach for our business line, because we have an Eastern Seaboard, and then we have a sort of a Southeastern market, and we have clients that fall on both sides and everything in between. So it's purposeful to a certain extent, because it's allowed us to have a larger reach and expose ourselves to different types of audiences using both the Lisa and the Fusion brand that's already established in those markets. But I drive down there every other week, so I'm in Hilton Head with Lisa every other week, so we see each other a lot.
He's trying to take over my territory down there. If the hostile takeover is impending.
This coming from the Charlotte ride that you just booked on Saturday.
Yeah. I recommend it to you this night.
Okay, so I have a question about in this process, as you guys have grown together and learned a lot about each other's personality, how do you recognize what is, okay, we're getting overworked and we need to address this issue? Like, how do you go about addressing conflict and recognizing when there's something going on?
I think Deevo's quickly learned that I'm always right, and that's the best way to handle it. But other than that, I love
how you're nodding. You're like, yep, yeah, that's so true.
we lump for who or do like rock, paper, scissors for who's right?
No, we have a trusting and respectful relationship, because we both realize that we both bring value to the table. And so in the end of the day, there's never really a right or a wrong. It's who can present the most compelling argument that brings the most value to our business. And so because we both respect each other, we're able to have cogent and clear conversations around it. Not to say that we don't disagree. There's many times when Lisa's clearly wrong and I just have to walk away from it. But
and then I don't get pizza that night. Great.
Yeah, it's like anything else. I think just have open lines of communication, whether it's in relationship or it's in partnership in business. Just be honest with each other, have some standards of integrity around it, and
I think there's constant conversation though, and we discuss all the time, like where we're at, where we want to be, and how we separate certain tasks as well. There's clearly things that Deevo is way better at than I am, and it's more efficient for you to do that. And there's other things that I enjoy doing more as well. So we kind of try to do a trade-off on that, or find a team member that is even more efficient at doing it than we are. So, and I think we love what we do. We really do love what we do, and we work a lot of hours, but sometimes you need that space. It might not be flying off to Tahiti for a week at a time or something, but sometimes you just need that space to walk away and reset. We have a morning routine that we do as well, and we're pretty stringent about how we start our day off so that we start with the right mindset and the right aptitude for the busy day that's ahead of us.
Okay. And do you guys do that together or separately, this routine?
When we're together, we do it together. When we're separate, sometimes we start in the morning. You read a lot, but we also do yoga, some mindfulness in the morning, and we'll do it over Zoom as well, which is actually really quite hilarious to watch.
I can imagine. So when you guys are looking at new opportunities, you kind of mentioned that what your roles kind of change based on what it is, based on your interests. Are there other ways that you evaluate how to take on new business?
Okay, so you're going to get a lot more heady than I am with this, but honestly, again, we spend so much time with our clients. It's really important that we're a good fit and they're a good fit with us, that we really believe in what we do, that we really enjoy working with them, that we feel that they have integrity and value and all of that. So that for me is number one.
I think I initially asked to see their bank account. I just want to know how deep it runs. Lisa's absolutely right on. One of the things that when I first started out my professional working life, if you will, is as I compromised my integrity around what mattered to me, and I took a job because it was a bigger paycheck, and I started doing something working in the corporate world that I had no interest or passion, and I did it for 10, 15 years almost, while I was simultaneously doing what I love to do most. And so I think we take that, we've learned so many lessons and through our own experiences of our own businesses, our own separate businesses, our corporate life, our prior marriages, etc., that we're not willing to compromise our sanity or our happiness for the value of just a paycheck any longer. Everything we do is a collaboration, whether it's your relationship, from a romantic perspective, or your business partner, or your partners that you go to work together. We're doing work for our clients, yes, and they pay us to do that, but simultaneously we're adding value to them. So that relationship should be a very reciprocal and balanced relationship in terms of respect and dignity and the value that both of us give to each other and get from each other. And so I think we've done a really good job of learning our past lessons, if you will, and we take that into everyone we work with now. And first and foremost, will it be a good collaboration? Because no matter how much money they pay you, if at the end of the day you're cursing them under your breath and wish nothing but ill will to them, that's never going to translate into a successful partnership, right? So it's sort of like a get to know each other process.
Yeah. And the right partnerships, they learn from us and we learn from them, and it elevates us all. I think depending on what your business is, most of us entrepreneurs, we put our heart and soul into our business. And it's not like at 5 o'clock you just shut out. So it's because you take things probably a little more personally than if you would have, like if you're working at a bank or something and you're punching out. It's really, really important to have your mindset to that positive aspect. Otherwise it's too dramatic.
Yeah, and we've had, even in this business with Sprout, we've had some clients, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, probably I shouldn't, but I won't name names. We've had some clients where we just
It wasn't good.
It was just wasn't a good fit. And we recognized that pretty early on. And, so we sort of just came to an agreement that this is not the best situation for both of us to be in. I can't pour my heart and soul or take a bullet for you if, I can't get dignity and respect back.
It's
And
like
vice versa.
social media, you don't need to take a bullet. But we
yeah.
all want to thrive in what we do, don't we? We all want to thrive, and we want our clients to thrive too. So that's really important.
Well, I believe in what you're doing. So if you're my client and you're paying me to be part of your team, which is in essence what we become a partner for you. I believe in the Kool-Aid that you're giving me to drink, and I'm going to be a proponent of that. And I want to go to swords for you because you matter to me. Your success is my success and vice versa. So it's really important that you have that conversation and that trust with whomever you're working with or working for, et cetera.
And as well too, like Bekkah, right before we got on the call, you were already saying, hey, I know someone that I can connect you with. When you're in a good space, you end up being connected. You connect our clients with all sorts of people too. People that, hey, I know someone that would fit with you and whatever. It just elevates everyone.
Okay. Yeah. And so I feel like from that summary, what I'm taking away is you have to go through some major failures or hardships first before knowing how to be prudent in choosing your future partnerships. Is that how I can summarize part of what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, that's basically a metaphor for life, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So how would you say, is this business that you have as a partnership different than other types of industries? And what are the advantages you saw in saying we're a good fit to work together?
I don't know that it's a specific industry, truthfully speaking. Content is content, social media is social media. It's about the objective and the approach and the philosophies that you take to achieve that end, right? So, we work with yogis, we work with business coaches, we work with motivational speakers, we're working with an optometrist. So we have a variety of different industries, but at the crux of it, there are people who are passionate about what they do. They're following their dreams. They wanted to launch a business. They wanted to provide some sort of value to the ethos of the universe, and they're going about doing that. And our job is to help them fulfill that personal moral obligation that they've established with themselves in the universe. And so whether you're a plumber or you're a yogi coach or you're a cat trainer, at the end of the day, we're all humans. We're all trying to make a difference in some way, shape, or form. And hopefully we all have some sort of integrity around how we do that. And those are the type of people we're looking to partner with.
Okay.
Are you talking about us partnering or with clients?
Well, she said industry, so I thought she meant industry. Did I answer the wrong question?
You could answer it both ways, actually. So, and in terms of partnering together, as well, what do you think was the advantage of you guys doing this in one business versus on your own?
I think we have more to offer when we're together. We have different talents, and it's so much more fun being in it with you. My business, I've been doing it alone for a while, and I'm fine being independent, and I'm fine being introverted and doing my own thing and sitting in my own office. But it's really nice collaborating with people, and I think that just, again, it elevates you and it increases your potential reach.
Yeah, I second that.
Okay.
I think that we both have unique ways of doing things, but in literally almost every sense, they complement each other.
Okay. So what advice would you have for other entrepreneurs who are considering a partnership business? What have you learned and say, absolutely do this?
I think first of all, you need to remember, whether you're colleagues to start out with, besties, a mom and pop team, whatever, you have to remember it's a business and you need to set it up appropriately from the get-go as a business and treat it that way.
I don't disagree with that. I would say that take your time. You don't need to race into anything. There should probably be some sort of a vetting process. Lisa and I knew each other and worked together independently for 3 years,
probably
3+ years before we realized what we ultimately wanted to do together.
Okay.
And that's not to say that you have to spend 3 years doing it, but don't just jump, just don't jump head wholeheartedly into something that you haven't done some sort of diligence and vetting around.
And I think we've talked about as well, the importance of, people just want to jump in and start right away. There's nothing wrong with just kind of dipping your foot in the water, keeping whatever you're already doing and starting it out as a side hustle. and then seeing the potential that it has before you give it all the wings and it takes off in flight.
Unless somebody comes along with a boatload of cash and wants to
Yes,
infuse it in your
and then
company,
sell out.
then just sell out. Yes, myself.
Negate everything that we just said.
We're just talking out of the way. I guess.
No,
I'm just
no.
joking.
So first, it's only choose things that you're ethical and
Yeah.
don't ever compromise your morals for money.
Yeah.
And now it's unless someone wants to buy everything, then just get rid of it.
We all want that private island in a yacht.
No, we just. I think that is at the end of the day. I guess what's your exit strategy? What's your purpose of being in business? Are you here to continually run this business forever and forever, or do you want to move on to something bigger and better? So that is part of it. Should in some way, shape, or form the financial piece that does factor into it. What value do you? What value, Bekkah, does your sister bring to the table as your podcast co-host, or whatever other next opportunity you both need to have reciprocal value that complements each other, makes each other better, etc. Otherwise, you just have somebody doing all the work and the other one's just a dead weight or any other.
And that's going to start a lot of contention. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So why don't you tell our listeners how you can be found on the internet?
Well, you can find us on the World Wide Web.
That's a new thing. I didn't think that thing was going to last.
At Sprout Connectors, that's plural with an S.com, and at Sprout Connectors on Instagram is the best way to find us. Same handle on LinkedIn. And then if you wanted to speak to us independently, you can just go straight to me and find us at Fusion Photography.
Or on Instagram, Fusion Photog, and me, Lisa Staff Photo.
Okay. And I'll have to link to those in the
Me up
blog
first.
post as well. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Well, we're going to transition now into our Sister Gawk portion. But first, I wanted to thank you guys for sharing your wisdom with me, because I feel like there's a lot of things that most people don't think about as they're evaluating getting into a business relationship, and whether that's a personality fit or whether or not you see how the other person brings value. So thank you so much for that advice. I really appreciate it. And so I think today we're going to talk about pizza was one of the topics. There were so many things we were talking about beforehand. So, and if you guys are okay, I'm going to share a story with you about an embarrassing pizza moment, if you're good with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I have been really into, which we had discussed, trying to perfect a Chicago style deep dish pizza. And this journey for me started because we went to a food thing where they just give you like copious amounts of leftovers when some like business doesn't sell it all or whatever. And it was super cheap. So we got all this food. And one of the things that they gave us was 2 5-pound bags of mozzarella. And I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do with all of this cheese? And I tried to run through all the different things. I'm like, well, deep dish pizza has a lot of mozzarella in it. I should do that. I should make this pizza. So I went through like lots of YouTube videos on different like professionals making it and talking about what you should do and all this stuff. So I did all this research. We finally were like, all right, I think we're ready. And we're going to use like a springform pan so it pops out nicely afterwards and all this stuff. So we baked it. And when I pulled it out and we cut it open, the cheese ended up being a different kind of mozzarella that wasn't melting. And it ended up being more like a ricotta, and it was almost like a lasagna. And it was one of the most depressing things. And we were all looking so forward to it, just serving it. And everyone's like, yeah, this is not pizza.
Get Domino's on the line.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I was so embarrassed. I was like, this is probably one of my bigger cooking fails I've had in a long time.
We've all had those, trust me. I've had some scenarios where I have people over and it's like, okay, dinner's not ready. Let's make a phone call.
Oh gosh, that fear every time you have like Thanksgiving dinner and that you've actually cooked the turkey right, you don't poison everyone.
We did have an opposite story where someone did like what we ate, and before we'd even sat down at the dinner table to join them for our meal, all of the food had already been eaten. So that was kind of funny.
Yeah. Hey,
Wow.
thanks for waiting.
I'm good. Didn't want to eat. Can I get you another drink?
Did somebody come through, like one of your family members or something, or how did that happen?
No, it was a dinner guest. We're not mentioning any names, but etiquette 101.
Oh, that is really awkward. Well, that's hilarious. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I have really appreciated your time. And if you enjoyed this episode, you should check them out at Sprout Connectors, as well as give us a review on Apple Podcasts. We will see you next week.